Available now on the Arrow Video channel streaming is Orchestrator of Storms, the Fantastique World of Jean Rollin. This is a documentary from Ballin and Kat Ellinger, released this year, about the French erotic horror filmmaker Jean Rollin, who's predominantly known for his, let's call them sexy vampire movies. He made all of these vampire films in France in the 70s and beyond, but I think 70s is where most of the films people talk about of his are known. He did Two Orphan Vampires, Grapes of Death, on and on and on. Worked with the actress Brigitte Lahaie, which I'm probably pronouncing wrong, and just made all these really iconic, dreamlike, saucy female vampire movies, shot in castles and all these fabulous French locations, and not wildly popular in his day, at least in this country. Over time, his status grew, and luckily, toward the end of his life, he knew how much his films meant to people and how appreciated and what a cult director he was. And this film basically tells his life story, a documentary, and it's really, really good. I'm a fan of Rollin's films, so it told me a lot of things I didn't know. Previously, all I knew about him was what I would glean from the extras on a DVD or a Blu-ray release, and those were usually just these little bite-sized bits about the film in question. This takes you on the full scope of his life, from being a kid, from getting into filmmaking, the various genres he worked in, and up to his death and legacy beyond that. So it interviews a lot of people who worked with him. It interviews actresses, behind the scenes people, close friends of his, colleagues, and it's so well done. You get a lot of vintage film clips, you get clips from the films, you get behind the scenes footage, you have interview footage, you have tons of photos that they had access to, some writings that he had done voiced by other people, and it's a wonderful overview of the man's work. It makes me want to sit down and watch all of these movies, even the non-vampire movies he did. He did adult films, he did all sorts of things, and it's like the ultimate supplement on a Rollin box set, which I would love for Arrow to release. I don't know if Arrow has the rights to his films. Somebody has the rights to his films, but it's really, really well researched, really thoughtful, very artistic. It takes these films seriously, even if a lot of people don't or didn't over time. And it's just a really wonderful in-depth look into how these films were made, what it was like making these films from the mouths of the people who were there, how they were received in their day, what it took to make these films, down to his attempts to make one last movie before he died, and in the sad ultimate end of his life. And I like that it's that complete, because a lot of times you'll watch a documentary or you read a book or see something retrospective of somebody's life, and it will oftentimes go up to the point where they had a great success, and then over the credits, it doesn't want to end on a sad note. So over the credits, or just before the credits, there'll be some stills with some text that say, he went on to make 17 more films over the next 20 years and died in 2012 or whatever. This doesn't do that. This basically describes his final moments, which is not pleasant, but is rather touching, and really gives you the complete picture of the man's life. So if you're a fan of the films of Jean Rollin, if you are a fan of what you would call Euro sleaze or Euro trash or Euro cult films, fan of vampire films, this film is a very interesting and very educational piece. If you are, whether you're completely unaware of these movies or not, this film will tell you all about these movies. If you're a fan, it told me so much that I didn't know. It showed me clips from a lot of the films I hadn't seen yet and made me want to see them. The clips look fantastic. It made me very, very hungry to watch some more Rollin films and to read more about him. I know there's a few books out there about him too, and the author of which, one of which is heavily featured in this documentary. So I would highly recommend, if you're a fan of any of the above, go to the Arrow Video channel and find Orchestrator of Dreams, the Fantastique Worlds of Jean Rollin, world singular, of Jean Rollin. It was a wonderful time. It was a wonderful watch. It's something I'll probably watch again. It's something, if it ever is released physically, I'll want to have next to my Rollin films on the shelf. And thank you very much to Kat Ellinger and Ballin, because this was very, very good.